Today we're going to be doing some stretches to help you get really good at your splits. We'll start with a little bit of a warm-up. We're going to do some kicks to get our legs warmed up really well, and then we're going to do some stretches, and finally we'll finish with some splits. So join me in just starting with a little jog in place to warm up. Just try to keep your body really relaxed. And now lift your heels up behind you while you're jogging. And again, just try to keep your body really relaxed. And just bounce up and down. Not very high, we're just doing little bounces. Again, trying to keep your body really relaxed. And move your feet in and out. And now try moving one foot forward and one foot backward. And again, just keeping your body relaxed, just bouncing a little bit. And jogging again. And lifting your heels up behind you again. And in and out again. And bouncing in place again. And forward and back. All right, so hopefully you've got your blood moving a little bit. We're going to move on to some kicks. So we're going to start with some back kicks on our hands and knees. And we're going to do all the kicks with a flexed foot because that helps you keep the muscles in your legs really tight to keep your legs straight. And it also sometimes gives you a little bit better stretch. So join me by getting up on your hands and your knees. Make your back really straight. Flex both feet and put one foot behind you with your foot flexed. And we're just going to lift up. Each exercise we're going to do for about 10 seconds or 10 repetitions. We're going to do 10 kicks. Keep your leg really straight, so lift your kneecap up and tighten the muscles in your legs. And lift and back down. 2, 3, 4. Try to keep your leg really straight the whole time. 6, 7, 8, 9, and try to keep your back straight. 2 and 10. And then swap legs, so both feet flexed. Keep your tummy tight, that'll help you keep your back straight. Keep your leg muscles tight, lift your kneecap up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The next kick we're going to do on our hands and knees as well, but I'll turn forward so that you can see me. And again, we're going to do flexed feet, and now we're going to do side kicks. So try to keep your weight equal on both arms, and you're lifting up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep that leg really straight. 9 and 10. And you may only be able to lift a little bit off the floor, and that's okay. And if you can't lift your leg off the floor at all, that's okay too. Just try, and you're still working those muscles and getting your legs really warm. So let's try the other side 10 times. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the next kick we're going to lay down on our backs for, and these are just mini kicks forward. So go ahead and lie down on your back, and you're going to put your arms out to the sides, and then stick one leg as high as you can, make it as straight as you can. Your leg might be here. If you're really flexible, you'll be able to lift it up a little bit higher, and we're just doing a little bit of a kick. So lift as high as you can. You shouldn't really feel a stretch yet. We're doing mini kicks into where you can feel a stretch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that foot flexed. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and keep that leg really straight. 10. And then put that foot down. Lift your other foot up. And 1, super straight leg. 2, 3, feel your muscles. 4, 5, 6, 7, squeeze those muscles straight. 8, 9, and 10. Let's move on to some standing stretches. So step into a medium-sized straddle. Reach your arms up really nice and tall to get started. Look up at the ceiling, stretch up really tall, and then reach down to the ground. Now, one thing that I should have said before was actually, if you need something to put your hands on because you can't quite reach the floor, you can use something that you have in your house, like a stack of books or a yoga block or 2. I'm going to use a couple of cans because most people have that. So if you cannot reach down to the floor, it may be helpful to have something to put your hands on. So I'll demonstrate. So when you're reaching down, you can put your hands down here. If you have your hands on something and it's too easy, you can always bend your arms. So just reaching forward in your straddle. And what I'd like you to do, I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see me. We're just going to do a couple little flexes with our feet. So put your hands down on the ground or on your cans or on your yoga block or your books. And what you're going to do is just feel your feet flex. So can you lift your feet up? And then we're just going to do that 10 times. 1, 2, 3, and each time you flex, you should feel a nice strong stretch in the back of your legs. Try to keep your legs really, really straight. Let's do 3 more. And 3, 2, and 1. Good. And now, go ahead and just reach down and hold it as far as you can until you feel a really nice big stretch. Push those legs really, really, really straight. And let's hold it 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, walk both hands over to the right side as far as you can reach. And again, you can put your cans next to you so that you can reach the ground, no problem. But what you're trying to do is keep your legs really, really straight. So reaching over to the side as far as you can. And let's hold that for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And over to the other side. And holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And go ahead and come on up. Now the next stretch we're going to be doing is a straight leg stretch down, but with one leg forward and one leg backwards. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what that looks like. So what you want is your hips facing your front foot and both feet facing exactly forward. And then just reach down towards the ground, and you're reaching down either towards the ground, or if you need to, you can put your hands there so you can reach the ground more easily. And then you're just going to reach down towards your leg and try to touch your nose to your knee and make sure that both legs are really, really straight and your hips are straight too. And let's hold that for 3 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1. And then let's try that with the other leg. So other leg out in front, so your feet are a little bit wider than how wide your hips are. So kind of a small stride. And both legs straight, arms reaching down, and reach down either to your cans or to the ground, and then bend your arms to go a little bit further, but keep those legs really straight. Make sure both toes are pointed forward. Bring your body close to your leg. Try to touch your nose towards your knee, but don't bend your knees to do it. Both legs really straight, and let's hold for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And go ahead and come on out. And now what we're going to do is a standing lunge. So start with your feet together, and you're going to reach your foot backwards. So balance on one leg, bring your other leg behind you, reach your foot backwards by bending your front knee, and then sit up really, really nice and tall as you can. Straighten your back leg and try to feel a stretch in your hip. And keep your hips nice and straight and the head nice and tall. And let's push those legs or those hips down. Push your knee forward a little bit, push your hips down, and hold it for 5 seconds. 5, 4, or 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. And then come back to feet together and balance on your other leg. Bend your knee, push your foot backwards so you're in a nice big lunge. Put your back leg straight and press your hips down. Press your knee a little bit forward to get a better stretch. And you're trying to feel that stretch in the front of your back leg up by your hip. And let's hold that for 5 more seconds. See if you can go a little bit deeper. Bend that front knee more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Let's move on to some sitting stretches. So we're going to start in a straddle. You don't need your cans right now, but we might use those later. So go ahead and start in a straddle position. And we're going to reach over to the side, and we're going to do 2 stretches to the side. So to start with, lift one arm up and reach over your head towards one of your feet. And you don't have to touch your foot, it's fine. Just go as far as you can. If you can touch your foot, that's really good. If you need a little bit more stretch, you can move your shoulder slightly in front of your leg. Let's hold that for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3. Now when you're doing this, keep those knees pressed down. 2, so check your knees. And 1, and then put your hand down on the floor. Turn your body so you're facing your leg, and then reach forward as far as you can. Again, press both knees down and point both of your toes, and holding it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then let's try the other side. So lift your other arm up, reach your arm over your head to the other side, and if you need a little bit more stretch, you can move your shoulder forward in front of your leg, press your knees down and point your toes, and hold 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then put your hand down, turn your body to face your leg, one hand on each side of your leg, slide your hands forward as far as you can, and bring your face down as close to your leg as you can for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then come on out, and let's reach forward. So just put your hands down on the ground, reach forward until you feel a stretch, and then just freeze there. Good, and see if you can go a little bit further. If you feel a stretch, that's great. If you need a little bit more, you can go further. I always tell my gymnasts, see if you can touch your forehead to the ground, and then if you can touch your forehead to the ground, try your chin, and if you can touch your chin to the ground, you're working on trying to get your chest to the ground. So you can work on that yourself. So think about forehead to the ground. If you can do that, see if you can touch your chin to the ground. If you can do that, then see if you can touch your chest to the ground. That's a little bit harder. And at the same time, make sure your knees are pressed down. So you want those knees pointed up to the ceiling. Toes are pointed, legs really straight. Try not to let your legs roll forward. You want to roll them backwards. So let's hold that for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then come on out. Now we're going to make our straddle a little bit smaller and do the same thing. So just reaching forward as far as you can. Nice pointed toes, knees flat, and reaching towards forehead to the ground. It's a little bit harder usually with your legs a little bit closer. Let's hold that 5 more seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. So for each of these stretches, you should be going to a point where you can feel a stretch, and it's just a little bit painful, but not so that you can't stand it. You want to be able to hold it in that position the whole time. So really we're talking about 15 or 20 seconds that we're holding each stretch overall. So now let's bring our feet together. What I'd like to start with is a flexed foot reach. So flex your feet, reach your hands forward, and reach your hands as far as you can forward till you feel that stretch, and see if at the same time as you're feeling that stretch, you can pull your toes backwards so far that your heels are coming up off the ground. And then hold that, and let's hold that for 5 more seconds. 5, reach a little bit further. 4, 3, keep reaching. 2, pull those heels up, pull those toes back. 1, and then come on out. And I always try to go a little bit further at the end, because you know you're almost finished and you just get a little bit of extra stretch. Great, so now let's point our toes and do the same thing forward. So reaching forward, this time I want you to look right down at your legs and see how close you can get your face to your legs. So you're reaching forward as far as you can. I like to put my hands on the floor. You can also put your hands on your legs, and then reaching your face as close as you can to your legs. And let's hold that for 5 more seconds again. And 5, 4, 3, remember we're looking down at our legs, squeezing really tight. 2, press those knees down, and 1, and then come on out. Correct. So let's go ahead and move on to some lunges now. So we've done a lot of work stretching out the back of our legs, and that's your front leg in your splits. When you have that leg forward in front of you, you're actually feeling that back of your leg stretch. Now we're going to move on to stretching our hips, because that's what's going to stretch on your back leg, and you need that balance to be able to do your splits. So I'll turn sideways so that you can see me, and we're going to be going from a lunge, a kneeling lunge, to a half splits, and then we'll get into our whole splits. So go ahead and put one leg out in front of you. It doesn't matter which leg. So we're going to start with actually a rounded lunge. So right now this is just a 90-degree lunge. What I would like to see is your body's really straight from your knee to your hips, to your shoulders, to your head. And then your front leg is straight out, or your front knee is straight out in front of you, but your foot is right underneath that knee. And you can just put your hands on your front knee. And what I'd like you to do is round your back and look down at your bottom knee, and then try to push your hips forward a little bit. So you feel a stretch in the front of your hip while you're looking down. And just hold that for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, and really round that back and tuck your chin in. 3, 2, and 1. And now let's swap legs, so we'll do the other leg, exactly the same thing. So knee in front of you, your ankle and your foot underneath your knee, your back knee is underneath your hip, hip is underneath your shoulder, shoulder is underneath your head. So hands on your knee, round your back, and then push your hips forward till you feel a stretch in the front of your hip. And then just hold that, and let's hold that for 5 more seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great, so let's keep swapping legs just so that we are keeping everything really balanced. So go ahead and swap legs, put your other foot in front, but now what I'd like you to do is move it forward more, so your hips aren't on top of your knee in the back anymore. And then put your hand on your knee and push your hips down. Now, when we're doing this, you want to make sure that your knee doesn't go past your foot, so be careful that you don't have your foot like that. You want your foot pretty far out in front of you so that you can drop your hips down. And then you want to try to keep your belly facing forward and your hips facing forward. And you're just trying to press your hips down gently and keep your body up really tall. And again, we're trying to feel a stretch in the front of your back hip. And let's go ahead and move out of that. So reach down to the ground and straighten out your front leg and flex your foot as hard as you can. And what I'd like you to do is we're going to go through, so right now if you're flexing your foot, you should feel a good stretch. And then what I want you to do is point your toe and reach your nose down and then flex your foot again, and let's do that 5 times. 5, point your toe, 4, flex, point your toe, 3, 2, and 1. So each time you flex your foot, you should feel a really nice big stretch. And then let's move forward back into our lunge again. So press your hips down. This time I want you to see, if you'd like to, see if you can balance. So you can put one hand on your knee and lift your other hand up in the air. And if that feels pretty good, you can try to balance with both hands up in the air. Reach up really tall, and at the same time press your hips down. Good, and let's see if we can hold that for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's stretch out the other way by reaching down, straightening out your front leg. And this time, what I want you to try to do is reach to the side. So move one hand out to the side and then reach both hands over to the outside of your leg. And then just reach down and forward diagonally as far as you can. Flex your foot, because that'll help you get a little bit of a better stretch. And push that knee really straight. For 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great, and let's go ahead and come on out of that. We'll do the same thing on the other leg. So put your other leg forward, hands on your knee. Now remember, we want this lunge to be bigger, so move that foot forward before you push your hips down. Now check that your ankle is underneath your knee and that your tummy is facing forward. And then try to lift your chest up really nice and tall. And let's just hold that. You can push your hips down a little bit further if you can, and hold it for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then reach your hands down and lift your hips up. Straighten out your front leg, flex your foot, and then point your toe and reach down further. And then we're going to flex our foot again 5 times. And you're going to feel a big stretch when you flex your foot, and that's what we're looking for. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. And then back to your lunge. And this time, again, put your hands up on your knee, press your hips down, and you can try to balance with one arm up or 2 arms up, and press your hips down and reach up really tall and hold it for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And go ahead and come on out of that. Oh yeah, and let's do our straight leg stretch. I almost forgot. So flex your foot. This time you're going to reach again to the outside of your leg. So move both hands over to the outside of your leg and then reach forward diagonally as far as you can and hold for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. So that's all of our stretches that we're going to do before we move on to our splits. So when we do our splits, doesn't matter which leg you start with. You can start with the leg that's easier for you, or you can start with the leg that's harder for you, but it's really important that you do both sides so that you get a nice even stretch and you don't end up a bit lopsided. So go ahead and put one leg straight out in front of you. Now here's the secret to getting this leg straight when you're doing your splits, is to keep it straight as you're going down. So right now you shouldn't feel too much of a stretch at all. Here's where, if you don't have your splits very far down, you might want to use your cans and put them just in front of you a little bit. And what you are going to do is keep your front leg straight until you feel a really big stretch. So you're sliding down, trying to keep your front leg straight until you feel a big stretch. And you can slide your back leg back a little bit. Now what you want to try to do when you're doing this is keep your belly facing forward, your front toe pointing right and straight in front of you, not off to the side, your back knee turned underneath you, and your back toe pointing straight behind you. And as you're sliding out, trying to keep your front knee really straight, keep that back knee turned under, and go a little bit further until you feel a little bit of a stretch, and then you can stop there, and you can wait there for a little while. And then when it starts to relax, you can try to tell your muscles to relax a bit, and then when it feels a little bit better, you can go a little bit further, and a little bit further, and a little bit further, until eventually you're all the way down in your splits. Now what you want to do when you're doing your splits is keep your chest up nice and tall, and your belly facing forward, both legs straight, both toes pointed, and you want to try to keep your shoulders even, so they should be side by side, not twisted. So try to push them. You can use yourself on the cans to push yourself into a nice straight position. And chest up really tall, trying to lift your tummy up really tall. And let's hold for 5 more seconds because we've been in it for a while. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And you can certainly hold for longer than this for your splits when you're practicing. But you can choose to do a little bit of extra once the video is finished as well. It's a really good idea to hold your splits for at least 15 seconds and up to a couple of minutes long. Holding it longer than a couple of minutes isn't going to help you get your splits any faster. So really between about 15 seconds and 1 minute is a really good amount of time to hold your splits when you're practicing. So let's do our other leg. Put your other foot in front of you. Straighten out your leg really, really well. Reach your hands down to the floor or to your cans. And then just little by little, move that foot forward or move your back foot back. But at the same time, you're checking that your front leg is really straight and it's pointing straight ahead of you, not to the side. And your back knee is turned right under and your back toe is pointing straight behind you. It's very easy for one of your legs to turn a bit sideways. So you want to try to keep your back knee pointing down and your front knee pointing up. So, and your tummy facing forward and your shoulders facing forward. So keep sliding a little bit by a little bit. And you could adjust yourself if you need to. I just had to move my foot into the center a little bit because it wasn't right in front of me. Keep checking that your front foot's right in front of you, your back foot's right behind you, and going down a little bit at a time until you're as far as you can stand it. And then stay right there. And again, trying to keep your chest up really nice and tall, your head up really nice and tall, your toes pointed, both legs straight, tummy lifting up, and tummy facing forward. Good, and let's hold that for 5 more seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And go ahead and come on out. Now for our side splits, let's warm up our legs really, really well. We're going to start with a froggy stretch. So what you're going to do is put your knees out to the side and your feet a little bit out to the side so they're right behind your knees with your feet flexed, and then see if you can go a little bit further. So you want to go as far as you feel comfortable. Then pop down on your elbows and just push your hips backwards until you can feel a stretch, and just stay right there. And let's hold that for 10 seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. All right, now what I'd like you to do is bring your knees in, and you're going to get into a little bit of a ball. And then what I'd like you to try to do is straighten one leg out to the side, and then just crouch down into that ball as close as you can to the ground, and keep that leg nice and straight, and then reach your hands over as close as you can. Again, keeping that ball with your knee, reach your hands over to the side until you feel a stretch. And then just hold that. Let's hold that for 10 seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7. And you should feel the stretch on the inside of your leg that's straight. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then go back into your little ball and put your other leg out to the side. and crouch down as low as you feel comfortable. And then reach over to the other side as far as you can, close to your leg, till you feel a stretch on the inside of your straight leg, and hold it for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so let's go ahead and go into our full middle splits. Now, when you're doing your full middle splits, it's really important that you keep your legs straight, and it's really important that you keep your hips in line with your legs as well. You want your hips further back than your feet, or further forward than your feet. A lot of times people do that because they say, ouch, it hurts. But you want to try to really push on the floor with your arms to keep it from hurting so much that you can't stand it. So just put your hands in front of you and your legs out to the sides. And right here it should be fairly comfortable. And again, if you're having trouble reaching the floor, you can certainly put something on the floor to make it a little bit easier for you, but just be careful, because if it's a little bit wobbly, that it doesn't fall while you're going into your splits. I'm going to just put those off to the side because I can reach the floor. And then what we're going to do is just slide our feet out to the side and push really, really hard on your hands, because then you actually have control over how far you are going, and so you can control how much it stretches. So go until you feel a stretch, and then just freeze there and see if you can point your toes and balance there. So push really, really hard on your arms if you need to, but try to keep your hips in line with your legs. And then if you feel like, oh yeah, I can stand that, and it's stretching and it's not stretching too much, then you can go a little bit further, and you can start taking some of the weight off of your arms and putting a little bit more weight onto your legs. And then just holding that right there, and try to relax your muscles and push really nice and strong on your arms. Keep your arms straight, lift your head up nice and tall, open up your chest a little bit. Now you can focus on trying to keep your legs really nice and straight. So squeeze the muscles in your legs, point your toes. If you're not quite all the way down, you can try to adjust yourself so you can go a little bit further. And let's hold that for 10 more seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. If it's hurting a lot, just push on your arms a little bit more. 3, 2, and 1. And then just go ahead and come out. Give your legs a really, really good shake out. That was a very good job, well done. And all those stretches together, practicing regularly and practicing your splits regularly, will help you get really, really good at your splits. So enjoy your practicing.